All right, guys. So we're back here with Barbara in Yakima, Washington, and how's it going, Barbara?
It's going all right. But within this last 2 weeks, it's been kind of weird.
Why
And,
is that?
and people will probably say that I'm mentally, like disturbed or whatever, but I am. I am, and I really am. I was aware that, like, there was five child abductions in Idaho that was on the radio. Well, not on the radio, but on the phone alerts. And I was sitting here one day, and I could hear a child crying. See, just as loud as you hear them talking, this is how as loud as the child was crying.
Mm-hmm.
And I was hearing it come from that direction, which is Boise Cascade.
Oh yeah.
And so then I'm like, okay. And so then I was like, called it in, because that's what you're supposed to do, because that's the right thing you're supposed to do.
Right.
So I called the police, and they said, okay, we'll be over in a minute. Half hour went by, another hour went by. And I said, well, this ain't cool. I said, that's kind of weird. Wouldn't you respond to a child, Amber Alert? I mean,
Yeah.
you hear a child crying. And so then I was like, oh. But it didn't bother me until I heard the second one crying. And it wasn't the same kid, because, two different cries. And I thought, whoa, maybe I'm just tripping. I said, but then I started looking around. I didn't say anything. I kind of looked around, watching other people's reactions. And, I'm like, okay, I'm not tripping,
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at them, they're looking at me, and I'm like, And I was like, okay. Just like as you can see right now, everybody looks pretty sad, pretty hurt.
Is that usually how it is, Barbara?
No.
What would you attribute to that?
A smile.
A smile?
A hand.
Why do you think everybody seems sad though right now?
Us guys who's been out here for a long time are more in tune with what's going on around us.
Yeah.
And so we learned that there's more than just us to have to worry about. Me, thank God for movies, because I do believe in the Pandora Box.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I actually had one show up right here in this park.
Really?
Yeah.
Can you elaborate what you mean by that?
It's a box sent from out of this world, I guess. But you can't open it, you can't close it, and it's like to ward off like bad evil spirits, basically. And so, but you got to make it sing.
Yeah.
And so I've been making it sing, but I also believe in the wind chimes, and I also believe in the gong. The gong is to control the underworld.
Yeah.
And the wind chimes is to control the air spirits. Because there's also air demons, they say.
Right.
And I wouldn't believe it if Chinese didn't come out with that whole thing right there.
Yeah.
And I used to ask myself, well, why do they always have these chimes? And they'd say to clear the air. I said, okay. So this past week has been kind of weird. It goes along with the kids, right? And so I'm starting to hear things. And so, but sitting here one day, and see how you can hear that right there?
Yeah.
I was hearing a child cry, the same, far away from way over there. And I said, what's this day? This is another day, So I called in again. I said, hey, what'd you do about your Amber Alert? Did you respond to it or what? And the guy, he came, he's like, looks at his phone. Oh, yeah, we got that. We got it cleared. I said, oh, okay. Well, why didn't they put it on the phone, saying cleared?
Yeah.
I said, because as far as I know, the child's still missing.
Right.
And so then the next day, the father and the child come and disappearing. But then I was hearing a boy and a child later on. And I'm thinking, are these people getting actually brought here? But I wouldn't doubt it.
To the park right here?
No, not to the park, but to here to be sold off or fed to, whatever,
Yeah.
Because then I'm like, oh, that's kind of weird. But then I started hearing bunches of people screaming.
Yeah.
And crying. and it was coming from that way, but then I could hear something like going, a cat goes meow or meow or whatever, a roar,
Right.
or they even do that cougar kill, they go, meow.
Yeah.
Well, that's a cat. But when it goes roar, I'm like Jurassic Park, that doesn't sound like any normal beast I know.
Right.
Because the only where I heard that was on Jurassic Park. Did you hear that?
What'd you hear?
It's kind of crazy, but it sounded like a pterodactyl.
Oh, really? No, I didn't hear nothing right now.
I bet you if you enhance it, the
If
volume.
I go back in the video.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I didn't hear nothing,
and
Barbara.
enhance the background.
Yeah.
You'll hear several different things, because right now the way it is, the hills. You see the hills?
Yeah.
You see it breathing?
If I see it, what now?
If you get time to check it out when you're sitting still wherever,
Yeah.
you'll notice the ground. Look, if you was to watch the ground, see, look, it is breathing.
It's breathing?
It's breathing. Either that or we're on top of water. But there's been like these, they call it the ancient ones, every 2,000 years, which we haven't even really been here 2,000 years. The ancient ones, they say, come out of the earth. I can understand that though, because we've crusted this earth with concrete pavement.
Yeah.
That is like a cast, and everything underneath the ground wasn't able to come out and breathe, eat, and evolve the way it was supposed to, like a normal thing,
Right.
And so now you got all this crusted ground and stuff with all these animals who's already probably eaten everything they could or whatever they can, or they're outgrowing it, because things grow, and now they're coming out, up and out, because they got no other way to go. And so now we're seeing things moving, like we're seeing the ground move, we're seeing big huge snakes, and check this out, it even gets funnier. The river was up 3.5 weeks ago. It was like up to a flooding status. So they alerted the bottom of the river again. Everybody cleared out. Okay, well, something else was clearing them out, because he kept saying, you hear that?
Yeah. Yeah, somebody's pounding on a post or on something like that. That noise right there?
That's the animal.
You think that's an animal? I think to me that sounds like a hammer hitting something,
No. We
Hey,
hear
Barbara,
it down
you
low
mentioned
too.
something happened with BC last night before the video. What happened?
Oh, if you don't mind. Anyway, I don't know if anybody believes in paranormal spirits, but back a while there, we discovered, sitting around getting high or getting, smoking weed or whatever, kind of like want to be invisible to people to the outside.
Yeah.
Out to the outside world, so, because it's like, we don't want to contaminate everybody with what.
I didn't realize it was you.
No way.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was you. I can't see that far.
What's up?
Hey.
But,
I'm just in the middle of the interview. Just give me a second.
Sorry, we apologize so much. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, don't worry about
I feel so bad. I'm
glad.
so sorry.
No, yeah, it's all good. You were all upset.
I was like, that's my homie.
Yeah,
what the
yeah.
fuck?
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
I'm so sorry.
No, don't worry about it. It's okay.
I'm sorry. My homegirl wants
It's
to talk to
okay.
you too.
But you hear that one over there, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, over this way is Cleellum. Over this way is Cleellum, and there's a firing range.
Yeah.
There was screaming.
I will.
There was screaming and hollering and yelling for help. And they've been doing a Morse code. You can't hear it quite. Yeah, you can. You hear it?
Yeah.
They've been doing a distress call up there, and the alarm's been going off.
Yeah.
And nobody's been answering it. It's been going on 2.5 weeks now. And the signal's not getting to them. Why? Because we got these big buildings in front of the satellite that's supposed to catch there's a satellite from there, and when that distress button goes off, it's supposed to bounce off of this other satellite, which goes to the Pentagon. And it's not getting there because this big ass a mall is in the way.
Really?
And the distress alarm thing is not on the top of the tallest building up there.
Yeah.
It's over here in this Grand Motel building. So there's like this much frequency that's in between them, and they can't get to the building. But I don't know who to get a hold of. I tried everybody. I even went over there to the building over there, and I found it empty. The whole building was empty.
Wow.
And so then I went to go look for. They say, like Godzilla, go to get the newspaper people.
Yeah.
I looked all over. I went to where they supposedly were. They weren't there.
Yeah.
And I said, well, what do? I seen one parked outside the building. I was like, well, what should I do? Should I break the window? Should I get their attention? I can't go to jail yet. So I was like, nah. I'm like, man, this is crazy. But I've seen, okay, I went back to the little boy, right?
Yeah.
So me and Blanca was sitting here, and I didn't want to say nothing, and I was just kind of like, She looked at me, she goes, let's go. I said, okay. So we went that way, and we got up to the road, climbed up on top of the road, because kept hearing it, and started walking, and we got like to where like the greenway is right here. There's a trailer court right there.
Yeah.
And I said, listen, it's coming from that way. Because, you can find, you hear that roaring?
No. I hear birds chirping.
No, it's roaring. That's what I was telling you about that. But
I don't hear nothing, Barbara.
I don't know, but you probably, if you enhance it, you probably hear it.
Yeah.
But and if you do hear what I was hearing or whatever I'm hearing and stuff, hopefully you could get help, because I can't get no help. And if our military base is under attack or whatever, that's our guns.
YTC.
That's our guns and our arms and stuff. And we're not allowed to have guns or anything on here.
Right. Hey, Barbara, would you be okay with doing a follow-up interview in the future?
Oh, yeah.
What message do you have for family or friends if they end up seeing this video?
Somebody, please get us help here. It's not only one thing, but we're having animal issues. And I don't know if Fish and Game Wildlife could come and actually apprehend these big snakes, because the dam there was pressure against it, so the levees were going to break.
Yeah.
But when the water went down and they backed up like this, the water backed up.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I think there was this big ball of snakes that were down there for generations or whatever. And when it came back like this and it released the pressure, and then when it rained and it pushed them back again, and then they built up a little bit more. And when the rain came again, it pushed them over.
Oh, wow.
So I know of one big huge huge gray snake like this big, a blue snake, which I was told is a viper, and then a big brown one because it was just getting in the water. But I believe that's a gopher snake, which is supposed to be good.
Okay.
But I can't even get nobody to go and check it out. I mean, you don't see no air things out in there, anything. Yeah. So they don't know. They can't see anything below because nobody's up there.
Wow, Barbara. Would you be okay with me posting this on my YouTube channel?
I would hope so.
For sure, man. And I already asked you that. All right, Barbara, you have a good day. Thank you for your time, okay?
But yeah, you just be aware of your surroundings.
For sure.
I mean, everything.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you, man.
I mean,